What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and today we are going to be focusing on the Champions League. We know we are 1 point outside the top 8, and the holy grail of the top 8. What is it, the holy grail, which we'll get into just in a minute. But yeah, look, we know if we finish in the top 8, we skip the knockouts, the playoffs, and we go straight into the last 16. And that is where most fans want us to be, you know, heavy fixture load. So in essence, you'd think that you'd want to skip out these 2 games. So we've got 2 games left. We play Dortmund at home next, and then we finish off with Eintracht Frankfurt away in the last game of the group stages. And we're going to be analysing the group, looking at who's playing who and how likely it is for Spurs to finish in that top 8.
Yes, obviously we don't return to Champions League action now till the new year, so we do have a bit of a break, but all the Champions League action yesterday finished. We now have a state of play going into the new year with 2 games remaining. If you bring up the table, you can see Spurs currently in 11th place, 1 point outside the top 8. But there are 2 teams between us and that top 8. And if we are going to finish in that top 8, that means we have to beat 3 teams that are ahead of us to finish inside that top 8. So we have to finish on more points than 3 of the teams that are currently above us. Obviously, there are teams below us who can overtake us. But if right now, with 11 points, obviously with 2 wins, that takes us to 17 points. Now, we are going to, from my reckoning, looking at the state of play, we have to win both games. If we drop points in either game, whether it be a draw or a loss, I think that would eliminate any chance that we have of getting top 8, because there are teams below us with Barcelona, who are currently 15th. They've got Slavia Prague and Copenhagen, so they are very likely to win both those games. If we drop in any and they win both, they will be overtaking us. Same with Chelsea. They got Paphos and Napoli, who have a very poor European record. So again, they could very well win both their games. So basically, if we're going to have a realistic chance of getting top 8, 2 wins has to be the bare minimum. If we drop points, pretty much 0% chance of getting in there, in my opinion. So where would 2 wins get us? 2 wins get us 17 points. So right now, I would say basically from 6th, 7th and 8th, if any of those teams drop points, whether that be a draw or a defeat in any game, then if we get 2 points, we'll be finishing above those teams. Same with 9th and 10th, Dortmund and Liverpool. So we need 3 of those teams to drop any points in and we have to win both games. That is the only way we make top 8. So out of those teams, Liverpool, Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, and potentially Atalanta as well, because we have a better goal difference than them. So if they drop points in one game, we could finish above them as well. I think the top 4 is set. I think we have to forget the top 4. We're not going to be finishing above any of those. So we have to pretty much look at 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, then obviously 9th and 10th. So how realistic is it that first of all, how realistic is it we win both games? We've got Dortmund at home, Frankfurt away. Dortmund are one of the teams we're competing with. They're currently above us. They're a pretty decent form this season in the Bundesliga. And the other team is Frankfurt away, who are currently in the bottom 11. It's going to be a very big game for them when we face them if they got any chance of being there. They've obviously just gave Barcelona a game, but they did lose heavily to Liverpool 5-1. They've lost to Barcelona as well. So, and we beat Frankfurt last year when they were probably a better team with Ekatike and other players. So, do you think what percentage charge do you give us winning both of our games? Would you say Dortmund at home, Frankfurt?
I don't know about percentage. It's hard to put an actual percentage on it. But
might have a new player by then. It's a lot of different circumstances.
Yeah, I think that they're winnable games, both of them. You saw last night how Dortmund struggled against Bodo Glimt, the way we did. It finished 2-2 in that game. Dortmund are a beatable team, as are Frankfurt, as we know, because we beat them over 2 legs last season, beat them in both games. So, we drew at home and then beat them away. But look, I think that we can beat both those teams, definitely. It's in with realms of possibility. It's in with our capabilities for sure. I just question whether we will go and do that. I feel like we'll get 4 points. That's where I feel like we're currently at. But I wouldn't put it past us to get 6 points in these 2 games. Look, you've got to do it game at a time. And obviously the harder game out of the 2 is Dortmund. And we're placing them next, and it's a home tie. We are very good at home in Europe. That's got to be said. We haven't lost a game at home in Europe in 23 games or whatever it is.
Yeah.
A lot of games. We haven't conceded a goal at home in Europe so far this season, albeit the level of opposition haven't been as high as Dortmund. We've played Villarreal, Slavia Prague and Copenhagen, so Dortmund are definitely the hardest of the lot and quite considerably higher in terms of level of opposition. So if we beat Dortmund next time out in January, we give ourselves a massive opportunity to win both games, because where I've got the 4 points standing, I think, is a draw against Dortmund and a win against Frankfurt. So I think, this Dortmund game is massive. If we can beat Dortmund, then I think we can do it.
I agree. And by the way, those 2 wins, if we do finish above 3 teams, that just about sneaks us into top 8. If we want to finish any higher than 8th, we need 4 teams to finish 7th, 5 teams to finish 6th, so which is obviously becoming increasingly unlikely. Looking at the fixtures of the teams above us that we're looking to drop points, I've got them ahead of me. So who we think is vulnerable? So obviously Dortmund, we need to finish above them. They have Spurs, obviously, and Inter Milan is their last game. So how likely is it they're going to drop points? Obviously, if we beat them,
I don't think they win either of those games.
So I think Dortmund, I'm fairly comfortable we can overcome them. Liverpool, obviously, they're in 9th. Their 2 games are Marseille away, Karabag at home. Now, Marseille away is a tricky tie. They've got players in really good form. They've had a mixed campaign in the Champions League, but it's going to be a very difficult game for them. They've
beaten Real Madrid and Inter Milan in this campaign.
They have, but I don't know where they are. They're sitting 16th. So yeah, they're doing quite well, to be fair. It's good. So that's not an easy tie away at Marseille.
I think Liverpool win both of those games.
So if they win both those games, we can't finish above them. Atletico Madrid.
We can on goal difference. We're not.
No, we're 1 point
okay.
behind. Atletico Madrid are the next one up. They have Galatasaray and Bodo Glimt.
It's Galatasaray away, isn't it?
Galatasaray away and Bodo at home. Are they going to win both those games? Good chance. I'm not sure.
I actually think there's more chance of Liverpool winning both of those games than Atletico. I think Atletico are a very different proposition away from home as they are at home. And I think they're going to struggle to Galatasaray away. They might win it.
Yeah.
They might win it.
Could they draw one of those games? We just need a draw.
They could draw against Galatasaray away.
So maybe there's a chance there. Next up, obviously, Real Madrid. They have Monaco away, Monaco at home and Benfica away. Real Madrid.
Jose.
Yeah, Jose in the last game. It is Madrid, so likely to win both games, but
they'll win both. They'll
probably win both those games. Next up, Inter Milan. They have Arsenal and Dortmund. Okay. So we just need them to draw one of those.
We need Dortmund and Inter to draw with each other, and then
that would
nice.
be great. And obviously, will they beat Arsenal?
Well, the thing is, Arsenal might rest players in that game
because they're pretty certain to be finishing in first at the moment. But then again, they might want to cement their first place, so they might just try and win the game, and that'll be that.
Yeah.
So not necessarily, but surely between Arsenal and Dortmund, one of those games they'll drop.
The thing is, Arsenal obviously rested a lot of players last night. And I feel the team that Arsenal fielded last night could even give Inter Milan a game. So even if they rest a few players, there's still a good chance Arsenal take points from that game.
So I'm fairly confident they will drop points in one of those games, Arsenal and Dortmund, this season. So if they do that and we win both, we can finish above them. The last one is Atalanta. Now, if they draw and win, then they'll be on 17, which means we would be level points with them. But we have a better goal difference. Their goal difference is 2, and ours is 6. So I would like to think if they do drop points one of them and we finish level points, our goal difference would probably end up being superior to theirs. Their 2 fixtures are Bilbao at home and Union Saint-Gilloise away. Are they going to drop? Could they drop points in one of those games? Atlanta having a weird season where they're doing very well in the Champions League, but not so well in Serie A. Now they're an inconsistent team. Are they guaranteed to win both those games? I don't necessarily think they're a cert to win both of those. Like they can easily draw.
They've had really good results, haven't they? Look at they've beaten Marseille 1-0 away. They've beaten Frankfurt 3-0 away. They've just beaten Chelsea as well at home.
They did draw at home to Slavia 0-0.
And so it's very strange, isn't it?
And Bilbao just drew with PSG 0-0. So there's a chance they could drop points in one of those games, I would say. Like, not guaranteed.
I'd probably say 4 points.
Yeah, and 4 points would leave us level on points with them.
Yeah.
So if we're analysing it, you probably say Atalanta, Inter Milan. I would say fairly good chance they'll drop points they will drop points at least one game, and then Dortmund. If we beat Dortmund, so there's a decent chance if we win it we can sneak into 8th, but nothing guaranteed. Obviously, Atalanta win both those games and we're done. If we don't beat Dortmund, we're done. If our Inter win both those games, we're done as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, looking at it, do you think if we win both, do you think we'll make it?
Yeah, 100%.
You think 100%? You think those 3 will drop? You're very confident.
I'm confident. Yeah, I am pretty confident. I think if we win both those games, for sure, we're making the top 8.
I'm pretty confident as well. I think I think all 3 of them. Obviously, Dortmund is guaranteed because we'll be beating them. So it's pretty much would have to lead either Inter and Atalanta. One of the games would have to drop points.
Into Atalanta, and like I said, I'm not fully convinced that Atletico Madrid are going to win
Atletico as well.
both
There's
those
an
games.
outside chance there as well, I would say.
And also, like with the form Liverpool have been on this season, you can't say they're 100% going to win both those games.
Yeah. So the only way we would miss out is if we beat Dortmund and then Liverpool, and let's say Atalanta win both games. So you would need 4 teams there to win both those games, or both their games. I'm pretty confident that not all 4 of them will. One of them's going to drop.
I'm looking at Real Madrid's results as well. I know that they've had quite a few wins, but all very narrow wins. Like they beat Olympiacos 4-3. You know what I mean? So they're not great this season, Real Madrid. They're going badly in the league. Could Jose spring a surprise in the last group stage game?
That would be a story. That'll be a story and a half. In terms of teams below us, it doesn't make too much difference because if we win both, they can't finish above us because we're a point ahead. But Newcastle have PSV and PSG. You probably think that they're going to drop points in one of those. Chelsea have, as I said, Paphos and Napoli. Barca,
Chelsea win both those games.
So we definitely have to win both.
But it's also interesting to talk about the implications if we don't win both those games, if we don't finish in the top 8. How low can we drop down, and what implications does that have for Tottenham?
So, if we lose both, we could finish as low as... well, technically, we could still not qualify. But because there's
we need one more
teams,
win to qualify.
Yeah, mathematically, but there's so many teams between us and 24th. I think we're probably already there. In terms of teams who could overtake us with just one win, we could drop as low as 20th if Leverkusen, Monaco.
But we don't know. Some of these teams are probably playing each other.
Some of them probably playing each other.
Maybe put it this way: what are the implications of where we finish? What does that mean for the next phase?
So if you finish, I've got the knockout phase. Let's get it up here. This is the tree. So how things work is if you finish, obviously in the top 8, you go directly into this section here, which is the round of 16. If you finish between 11th and if you finish either 11th or 12th, which is where we are now, we're 11th, you face the 21st and or 22nd team, which is right now PSV or Karabag. If we climb a couple places but don't quite make the top 8, which is 9th and 10th, we will face either 23rd or 24th, which is right at the bottom of the qualifying. So that would right now be Napoli and Copenhagen. But if we do qualify for the top 8, which is right now here, go directly into the knockouts, you then face the winner of the knockout of the playoff of phase, which would be 9th and 10th versus 23rd and 24th. So you would face whoever wins that. So right now, if we replace Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, we would face the winner of Liverpool versus or Dortmund versus Napoli or Copenhagen. So it could well be Liverpool. We would play that team. And then you could be facing, in that phase, you would be facing first or second in the quarterfinal, which is then could be, Arsenal or Bayern in that quarterfinal. That would be that section. However, if we were to finish where we currently are, which is 11th, you actually go to the other side of the draw, which would mean we would have an extra game, which would mean right now we would face either PSV or Karabag. And then in the quarters, you would face either, right now it's 5th or 6th, which is Atalanta or Inter. And then in the quarters, you're not facing first or second, you're actually facing 3rd or 4th, which is likely to be PSG or Man City. So actually, in the long term, you could argue finishing outside the top 8 puts you in a slightly easier pathway in the
To be honest, first, second, third, or fourth are all equally as hard. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I guess. I guess you would avoid Arsenal or Bayern, who are currently first, second. But then
you
again,
get PSG or Man City.
But PSG or Man City. But we have given PSG a couple of good games. Man City we've beaten already this season, so I guess you already have that template potentially to go and get results against those teams. If we were to face them, I guess if you're looking at it positively. But then again, Arsenal and Bayern in the last 2 games could drop out the top 2 as well, and that could obviously fluctuate. So right now, this is all theoretical. All these positions are going to change. It could wildly swing. You could go from Inter Milan, I've seen with one result, can go from 5th to 12th. So that's how wild things can swing in the knockout. So, but in theory, it might benefit you long term not being in the top 8 than actually finishing low up in the top 8, because all of a sudden you're going to play the first or the second team in the quarterfinal rather than the third or the fourth team, which is quite an interesting dynamic.
So, after analysing all that, would you prefer to finishing in the top 8 or outside the top 8?
I still probably would, just because you avoid those games, and if you're going to have to face one of them eventually anyway. You might get a better path to the semi-final, but then again, it's still pretty hard anyway. It's like, as you say, the difference in PSG or Man City or Arsenal Bayern is negligible at best. But if you're thinking positively, we have had those games against PSG and Man City where we've looked well. So maybe you could argue you'd rather face those teams than you would an Arsenal or a Bayern. In that case, you'd want to finish. It's
also worth noting that Real Madrid, Spurs, Dortmund are kind of very similar exactly the same in terms of goal difference. Inter are 2 goals above us on goal difference, so if they're going to drop points, they could finish on a similar goal difference to us.
Well, the only way we finish on the same points as Inter is if we draw 1 and they lose 2, or if they draw 1 and win 1 and we win both, we won't be.
That's a good point. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, is there any way that we can finish on the same points as someone that's 8th when we're going to be 9th or 10th?
Well, the only way is...
Because there's all these different tiebreakers.
If they win a game and we get 4 points, that would be a way.
It goes to points, then goal difference, then goals scored, then away goals, then wins, and then away wins.
So if Atletico win a game, that puts them on 15, and they lose the other one, and then we win, and then we get 4 points, then we would finish on the same, and then it'll go down to goal difference.
Well, we need to assume that we win both our games.
Well,
that's what we need to assume.
I'm just saying, if we don't, we get a draw and a win, and they get a loss and a win, then it could go down to goal difference.
So if we win, that puts us on 17.
2 wins is 17, yeah. But I'm saying a draw and a win for us is 15. And if they win 1 and lose 1, like if Inter beat Dortmund and lose to Arsenal, then it goes down to goal difference for us. If we don't win both games, that is.
So basically, we can't really finish on the same points as what you're saying.
Both,
if we win both, we can't finish on the same points as Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, or Inter. Only Atalanta.
Yeah.
If they draw and win.
Correct. So it won't come down to goal difference.
Okay. So our goal difference is not going to mean too much then.
Well, it'll mean much if it's at Atalanta.
Yeah.
Who could very well be 4 points for them. They could easily finish on 4. And we've got quite a good gap there. But obviously, if we win both, our goal difference would increase. I don't know about how much, but it would.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, after all that, I mean, it does make more sense for us. I mean, it's better for us, to finish in the top 8, obviously, because I think it might be a few harder games earlier on, but look, like you said before, you got to play them to beat them. Look, where are we realistically going to get to in the Champions League anyway? Quarters is probably our ceiling this season, isn't it?
And obviously that puts us a better way of getting to the quarters if you go directly into the knockout. So I think we have to do everything we can to avoid that overload of games as well, given that we've got certain areas in the squad that are that we have gaps in the squad, overusing certain players. So I think it'll probably help us. Who knows? We'll have either signing or 2 by the time those things come around. But yeah, I think looking at that, 2 wins is a must, and if we get those 2 wins, I'm pretty confident we're going to get in that top 8. But that is I think that's the mission here. We have to get those 2 wins. I think 4 points, you're probably looking at somewhere between 9th and 12th. I would say.
Yeah. And look, it won't be a disaster, though, will it, if we finish 9th or 12th?
Well, then again, we could drop even further because I think Barca are winning 2. I think Chelsea are could win 2 as well.
Sporting won't.
Sporting won't. So I think Barca and Chelsea could definitely overtake us.
I think Sporting play PSG, don't they?
Not actually sure. But I think I think it's safe to say if we don't win both, we could drop a couple of spots.
Yeah, so Sporting got PSG and Bilbao. So unlikely they win both.
Obviously, Marseille
got a hard game, yeah. So
I think let's say we get 4 points, I think you're probably looking at 13th, which would then put us in the bracket 13th or 14th, play 19th or 20th, which is right now Monaco or Leverkusen.
Which is decent. I mean, I don't think that's a bad spot to be in. I think, like, either way, we're either going to be a seeded team in the playoffs or we get into the top 8 and miss that round altogether. So as long as we're seeded in the playoffs, then I don't have too much of an issue with it. The biggest issue is just the games, the amount of games that we're going to be playing. That's the only issue, really.
And we could be facing, if we do finish in that top 8, you're looking at a prospect of potentially Liverpool in that. Yeah, right now, anyway, that is. Well, we'll have to wait and see who throws up what, but potentially Liverpool in the knockout.
Yeah, at this moment in time, I kind of fancy us over 2 legs against
true,
Liverpool, but come then, it'll be like around March time. I don't know if I fancy it then.
True. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting to look at. And I think it kind of just puts everything in perspective. I think when everyone looks at the league table and looks at all the permutations, it gets quite complicated. It's easy, and I think it's easy to simplify it here, which is good.
Yeah, so it's interesting to look at. Obviously, it's nothing that we need to look at for another month because Spurs don't play Dortmund, I think, until the 20th of January. And then a week later, I think we play Eintracht Frankfurt away. So once the Champions League come back around, maybe the squad will look in a bit of a different shape. It'll be interesting to see what the form and the trajectory of the team are going to be like by then as well. And maybe we'll have a different outlook of it. And maybe we'll think at that point it might be... I might think more positively about getting 6 points. You never know. But... Look, right now, I do think we're on for probably about 4 points. And even if we do go and beat Dortmund, it's still a very hard prospect going to Frankfurt and getting that win, even though we showed that we could do it last season. But again, like Frankfurt are actually not the same team that we played last season. They're 7th in the Bundesliga, so they're not actually performing at the same level as they were last season. So... look, it's very interesting, but let us know your thoughts in the comments section below of this kind of Champions League permutations, and I hope we kind of taught you something today. Maybe you learned something new about how the Champions League works, because I certainly did when Simeon was explaining it to me before we went live. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.